since Oceania served as the home ground for the Horton Group. The moment Louis stepped inside, executives swarmed around him. He exchanged pleasantries with them, though his peripheral vision kept track of Kira, who had quietly slipped away as soon as they entered and put some distance between them. Kira weaved through the crowd like an eel, tucking herself into the nearby snack area, where she finally straightened up and started helping herself to some food. She believed herself hidden away in that corner, unaware that she had actually become the focal point of many eyes. Louis loosened his tie, only to catch a flattering remark from the person standing before him. "Mr. Horton, didn't Mrs. Horton come with you? You're keeping her far too well hidden. We really ought to meet our First Lady at least once." Someone beside quickly pulled the speaker aside. Normally, Louis disliked having people chatter too much about his wife. This individual had only recently been transferred from another city and wasn't aware of Mr. Horton's preferences. Would Mr. Horton be angered now? Unexpectedly, Louis simply gave a noncommittal response. "You'll have your chance someday." Everyone stood there stunned. Mr. Horton's attitude had clearly shifted. Rebecca, noticing Louis entering without Kira, felt a twinge of disappointment and kept scanning the room. Frankie said, "I have some good news for you." "What is it?" "Do you recall that incident when Kira, the very person you sought help from, not only refused to lend you a hand, but also went so far as to insult you?" Rebecca's pupils contracted slightly, and she lowered her head, replying with a hint of sorrow. "I remember." When you're already in a difficult spot, the anger and accusations from a stranger can easily push someone's mental state to the brink. Being berated back then had indeed made her feel utterly hopeless. Frankie continued slowly. "I took revenge on your behalf." "What?" "Her company needs to purchase raw materials from us. I cut off her supply chain. She won't be able to get the materials she needs anytime soon." His voice carried a dark edge. Those in business were all ruthless in their own ways. Rebecca bit her lip. Wouldn't that be going too far? She must have acted on impulse at the time. Even if it was impulsive, she had no right to insult people freely. A Jake suddenly emerged from the side, clearly agitated. "I apologize, Mr. Allen. I happened to be passing by and overheard your conversation. I couldn't resist adding my own thoughts." He turned to Rebecca. "Everyone must answer for their actions. Even if she's naturally cold and didn't wish to help, she shouldn't have said such things to someone already in distress. I believe Mr. Allen has been far too lenient. This punishment is actually quite mild for her." Frankie gently patted her head as well. "We should thank young Mr. Horton for this. He's the one who told me about the collaboration between our two families. Otherwise, I would never have known about this little project." Jake laughed. "It's nothing." Rebecca nodded in agreement. She asked, "Where is Miss Olson?" Jake chuckled. "She went to the restroom to freshen up her makeup." Rebecca's eyes brightened. "Mom, let's go find her." Feeling uneasy around so many strangers, Mrs. Allen didn't object and pushed Rebecca toward the direction of the restroom. As they arrived, they caught Isla, just as she was stepping out after touching up her makeup. As they brushed past each other, Rebecca abruptly turned her head to stare at her. Mrs. Allen asked, "What's wrong?" Rebecca clenched her fists tightly. Earlier, she had thought her brother's actions were too severe, believing she didn't harbor hatred toward this woman. But in that instant, she realized just how deeply Isla had wounded her. It had nearly driven her to a mental collapse. Isla's words had made her feel as though there was no future ahead of her, no point in going on living. She gripped her fists, pulled out her phone, and sent an Insta-chat message to Frankie. "Frankie, that woman is here too. Can you make her leave? I don't want to see her." By the time Frankie read that message, Isla had already walked over to them. She affectionately looped her arm around Jake's and was about to greet Frankie when she saw him lift his gaze, a sharp glint flashing in his eyes. "Has Kira also arrived?" Both Jake and Isla frowned. The three of them scanned the room, searching for Kira. But the convention hall was quite spacious and crowded with people moving about, so they didn't spot her immediately. Isla asked, "What's the matter?" Frankie's expression darkened with anger. "Word has it that she's also come to this feast. What does this mean, young Mr. Horton? Is the Horton Group looking to embarrass the Allen family?" Jake replied, "I'll handle it right away." Kira remained relatively quiet in her corner. Even though she attracted a fair amount of attention, her chilly demeanor and the coldness in her eyes kept most people at a distance, with only a few daring enough to approach. A couple who tried to strike up a conversation were turned away after only a few exchanges. After a while, Jaylen came over, his expression both excited and somewhat reproachful. "What are you doing here all alone? Who brought you here?" The last part carried a hint of blame, clearly implying that whoever had invited her had been negligent. Kira smiled. "Being alone is wonderful. No distractions." Indeed. Jaylen seemed about to say more, but a group of people gathered around Jake. "Young Mr. Horton, you'll have to guide us in the future." Jake responded with a light smile. "There's no need for such formalities. I'm merely the deputy head of the development department." "You're too modest. We've heard inside news that there are plans to promote you to director." Upon hearing this, everyone immediately began offering their congratulations. "Young Mr. Horton is so young and has already accomplished so much for the group. Mr. Horton and Mr. Allen don't exactly get along well. They say this collaboration nearly fell through. Thankfully, young Mr. Horton stepped in as the mediator. We just saw Mr. Allen and young Mr. Horton chatting quite amiably." Jake basked in that kind of atmosphere, raising his champagne glass. "Don't say that. The project was actually initiated by my uncle. Mr. Horton does have ability, but he's rather aloof. If he could be even half as approachable as you, every discussion would go much more smoothly." Yes. Our group and the various enterprises and clans have always struggled to forge connections. If Mr. Allen could introduce us, the future growth potential for our group would be enormous. Hearing all this, Jaylen sneered. This Jake. He didn't know what methods he'd used to win Mr. Allen's favor. Had been acting all high and mighty around the company these past few days. Afterward, he said in frustration, "My cousin is the most stubborn person. Although he does have some ties with the Allen family, he refuses to engage with them properly. It would be great if I could meet someone from the Allen family myself. If he won't build that relationship, I'll do it for him, just to stop Jake from badmouthing him behind his back." Listening to his words, Kira glanced around and caught sight of Mr. Allen, who was deep in conversation with Frankie. She said, "Let's go. I'll introduce you to the Allen family." To listen to the full audio series, install the Pocket FM app now.